Konami is one of, if not the largest third-party video game publishers in the world, with a total revenue of 262.8 billion yen as of 2020. There's a reason why a lot of people, including myself, buy games from this company. In case you missed out, Konami is mostly known for the Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Dance Dance Revolution franchises, both are of which outliners as well. Today, I'm discussing a game from Konami that people outside Japan don't really acknowledge or discuss about that much, and that game is The Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Originally released in Japan in 1991 as Gamade Goemon Yukihime Kichisusu Inamaki, and published in 1992 in the US as The Legend of Mystical Ninja as the fourth game in the Goemon series, and the first of few for international audiences. I've seen it briefly when watching SNES ranking videos, but I didn't really talk about it that much. But when I played Smash Remix online, I got curious about the character, about this blue-haired ninja dude appearing in the roster. There are a lot of things that I have to talk about this game, about this SNES title. So I'm just gonna stop rambling and just get into it. This is The Legend of the Mystical Ninja Retrospective. So what kind of game is The Legend of the Mystical Ninja? Well, let's look back at the past Goemon games to give you a better idea and a bit of a brief history. In 1986, Konami released an arcade game called Mr. Goemon for the arcades. Mr. Goemon was based on a popular noble thief during ancient Japan named Ishikawa Goemon, a popular outlaw in Japanese folklore during the Edo period. By the time Mr. Goemon was released for the arcades, Super Mario Bros. Was dominating the NES and Famicom, with Mario's popularity in the action game industry. To capitalize on platforming, Konami decided to make a game to cash in onto the 2D platforming craze. So in July 1986, they released Gamade Goemon Karakuri Dochu, which just came out 2 months after Mr. Goemon. Unlike its arcade cousin, the the game requires you to control Goemon to find 3 entry passes around the level. 3 years later, in 1989, a sequel called Gamade Goemon 2 was released again for the Famicom in 1989. This time, you could play as his partner, Ebizumaru, as player 2. After the release of Goemon 2, Nintendo's upcoming Super Famicom, or Super Nintendo, was on the horizon for the 90s, and Konami wanted to make a game starring Goemon to appear for the next 16-bit generation. According to the January 1991 issue of Famitsu magazine, the game was temporarily named Goemon Day during development, releasing less than a year after their massive successful Gradius 3 as The Legend of Mystical Ninja. The release of the game in Japan was made to tie in with a massive campaign to celebrate Goemon's 5-year anniversary in 1991, followed with another Goemon game for the Famicom in 1992 titled Gamade Goemon Gaiden 2 and Gamade Goemon Saba wa Rita Ebizumaru for the Game Boy in 1991. Like the mainline Mario games, The Legend of the Mystical Ninja uses the standard reaching the castle and rescuing the princess formula. In this case, Goemon and Ebizumaru are sent by a Koban god to save Princess Yuki, who has been kidnapped by the Hanya army clan, battling an assortment of enemies, looting civilization as they go. The game will use a mixture of Zelda and Mario-esque gameplay, starting with a Zelda-like perspective and eventually dropping to a 2D platform like Mario. In the game, you will fight 17 different enemies, excluding bosses. The most common enemy to appear in the game are the Cartmeisters, which are found in every village throughout the game, and there are a few enemies that don't change the match of the theme of your location. Other enemies include the Atafu soldiers, the Papa Gurus, and the sumo tag team native to the Yamato area. The items in the game are pretty good. The sandals give you higher jumps and make you faster, pizza or onigiri will give you extra health, fortune dolls give you a pipe or a killer yo-yo, golden fortune dolls give you an extra hit point, and collecting 10 scrolls will give you temporary access to your mystical ninja powers. Many of these items are crucial in being the beauty of the game and its puzzles. There's a lot of mountain climbing involved, and final levels they expect to replace your sandals often. I know I've been saying a lot of positive things about this game, but of course there is its negatives I need to talk about. I cannot stress enough about this game is not made for beginners, not even their first platformer. For the last 6 worlds, you are expected to master all the game's mechanics. Not only do they get more dangerous, but the enemies get a lot meaner, and it's usually the smaller guys that you'll have a problem with. Oh, did I forget that you cannot save in this game? Unlike Super Mario World that has a built-in battery right into the cartridge, instead, The Legend of Mystical Ninja requires you to write down extremely long passwords if you want to save the game. Like what even the point of that in this stupid thing? I just want to save normally. But anyways, even if you get the game over screen, you are given 2 options to either quit or continue the game, but at the cost of you have to hand in all your half-earned money and all your equipped items, which doesn't make much of a difference because I already have all the levels layouts already burned into my muscle memory already. And even then, the gameplay is mostly just killing several civilians just to get the money, just to coin farm. So pretty much the only way really to actually beat this game is you gotta keep constantly re-equipping items, because if you don't re-equip your items, you will face difficult bosses, and that will basically makes this game pretty impossible. Well, even though the last 6 levels are pretty much almost really hard, that's why I really love the first 4 levels so much. They're pretty much tutorial stages on making sure you get used to the game's mechanics before the tougher levels get harder. Despite this, The Legend of the Mystical Ninja will still become a success by the end of the Famicom's life, becoming one of the best-selling Super Famicom games in Japan. Due to its commercial success in Japan, Konami took a gamble to bring Gum Goemon over to the US markets. However, to allow that would happen, they would have to make a couple of changes. During the Famicom and NES days, Konami and many other third-party developers were very strict when it came to localizing or Americanizing their games. The PC Engine was a good example of this. Only 121 out of the 678 games in the PC Engine library were ever released in the United States for the TurboGrafx 16, leaving the rest Japan exclusive, so Yuki Hime had to localize and change things for the US. Onigiri was changed to pizza, and some of the text was removed as well. Despite this, the changes were kept very small, so most of the Japanese stuff in the original was pretty much intact. While the game sold 1.5 million copies in Japan, The Legend of the Mystical Ninja was a commercial failure in the United States, selling roughly around 58,000 copies in North America, at least in my opinion. Its poor sales were mostly due to its heavy Japanese-influenced games and its lack of marketing, kinda like Pocky and Rocky in many ways. However, Goemon would get some recognition eventually in the West, with Mystical Ninja starring Goemon on the N64, but that may be for another video maybe. But still, in both the US and Japan, the game received overall critical acclaim. As for marketing, well, aside of a couple of guidebooks, an OVA, and a manga adaptation in Bon Bon Comic as promotional material, there was a re-release for the Game Boy Advance in 2005, titled Gambare Goemon 1 and 2, Yuki Hime and McGinnis, which features a 2-in-1 card of The Legend of Mystical Ninja and Gambare Goemon 2 for the Super Famicom, but sadly it has not been re-released or advertised since. I don't have to say much about the soundtrack, because this one is a good soundtrack. Sure, Donkey Kong Country is also pretty good, but I think I like this one a little bit more. I know that a lot of these tracks would go on to become the most popular recognizable tracks in the Goemon series, and the most remixed on YouTube, so I'm gonna say that people agreed. I can say this might be one of my favorite SNES OSTs from the few I've actually listened to. I don't know, my opinion might change after on the other 714 other tracks on the console. So how do I feel this game overall as a whole? Despite all of its flaws, The Legend of Mystical Ninja is still worth playing at least once, if you're interested in quirky humor, Japanese culture, or 2D platformers like Mario. The game has some of the best controls I ever played in any video game, the music matches the game very well, and it's really impossible to ignore nowadays, even though the save mechanic can be pretty bad. But overall, I think Konami delivered a really good solid game with this one. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. This video took me a long time to make. In case you're wondering, if you already told, The Legend of Mystical Ninja is a game that I have so many fond memories about. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below if have you played Legend of Mystical Ninja when you were a kid. And talk about anything about the game if you enjoyed. If you liked this video and you want to see more video game or retro gaming content, feel free to subscribe. It helps a lot more than you think. I'm Luke Attack, thanks for watching.